All right, hey, good afternoon, good morning, or whatever time you are watching this video. Let's take a look at the 4.1 notes here today, and it's all about function notation. So in mathematics, we like to talk about some types of equations being functions. Okay, so basically, what a function is, it's an equation where any given x value, so for any given x value, there is only one y value. So when I plug x into an equation, it only gives me one y value. So what happens in mathematics, we like to use what we call function notation. So what happens is, we a lot of times will start with an equation, for example, like 3x plus 5. What we like to do is, in function notation, we're going to replace the y with f of x. Okay? So we read this as, simply, we say this as, so it's read as f of x. Sometimes we say it as the function of x. Okay? And all we're doing is simply replacing the y value here with f of x. So we'll say f of x equals 3x plus 5. So this becomes our function notation. Now the f, we like to usually say stands for function, but technically this letter here in front can be any letter you want it to be. It can be, G, H, I, J, K. I'll tell you right now, usually I don't let it be X, Y, or Z, but sometimes we'll let the function represent something. So it might represent, the height. So if it represents a height, I might say H of t. Or if it represents like profit, I might say P of X. So it's how you can always use different letters sometimes to help you remember, okay, what the function notation is. So here's how the function notation works. It's actually pretty darn easy. Okay? So first and foremost, okay? So in number 1 here it says, write the following equations in function notation. So all you're doing on these is replacing the y with f of x. So all you're doing is saying, all right, well then f of x equals 2x plus 3. And for this one, f of x equals the square root of 3x minus 5. And f of x equals x squared plus 3. So it's just the notation. So now you might be asking yourself, why in the world do we use this notation? Well, what's nice about the notation here is you'll know not only your x value, but your y value at the end when you solve. So the second part of your lesson here today is just simply simplifying and solving these function equations. So notice how here it says, consider the following functions. So here's the f of x, here's a g of x, and here's a h of x function. So here in A it says find f of 7. So what this means is I'm simply going to let x equal 7, and I'm going to solve for the function. Meaning, I'm saying, all right, f of 7 equals, so I come up here and replace the x right there with 7. So I go 4 times 7 minus 3. So what's nice is I can use my calculator and just simply go 4 times 7 minus 3, and I get 25. So what this means, and there's your answer, but this is why we like the notation. But this is what it means when x equals 7, y equals 25. So the reason why we like the function notation is you know what x and y are at the end. Okay? Using just the y equals equation, you have to go back and look back at, oh, what did I let, x equal to get the y value? Here it's all in one mathematical statement. All right, so let's take a look at the second one. It says find g of 3. So the importance of this is notice how it says g, so I'm going to this function right here. So to find g of 3, it equals 4 times the absolute value of 3 minus 7. So absolute value. So this symbol, remember, is absolute value. So this is like distance from 0 on the number line. Basically makes negative numbers positive. So to get it on your calculator, okay, it's just the math key, okay, and I believe it's just number 1, but I'm going to double check that here. So if I want to do this on my calculator, I can go 4. If I hit the math key, oh, that's right, I do have to hit the right arrow over 1. So I got to hit the right arrow over 1 and then select number 1. You'll see ABS, and that will pop up the absolute values. So I type in 3 minus 7, move my parenthesis or my arrow over, and it tells me that g of 3 equals 16. Now you don't have to tell me that x equals 3 or when x equals 3, y equals 16, but that's the whole interpretation of it. All right, next one says find h of 16. So I plug in square root 2 times 16 minus 7. So h of 16, calculator time. So square root symbol is second x squared. 2 times 16 minus 7. Whoa, let's clear that. Oh, good. 2 times 16 minus 7 because it, oh my goodness, it's not taking my symbols here. That's a little annoying. All right, and I get 5. All right, what I would suggest doing is pausing the video and seeing if you can do the next 3, but I'm going to just plug away on them. So here it says find f of negative 4. So f of negative 4 equals 4 times negative 4 minus 3. So f of negative 4, plug it into your calculator. 4 times negative 4 minus 3, and I get negative 19. Let's try the next one, g of 12. All right, anyway, plugging in g of 12 here, I get 4, absolute value, 12 minus 7. So now I can use my calculator and go 4, math, number, absolute value, 12 minus 7, enter, and I get 20. All right, the last one. H of 64, so I plug that in. Ooh, 2 times 64 minus 7, so h of 64, calculator time, second x squared, 2 times 64 minus 7. Whoops, I had a little error there, something, oh, it took 2 multiplications for some odd reason. It's always good to check what you're entering in your calculator. Even Mr. Bartz makes mistakes. And look at that. We got those done. All right, so the last 2 problems are a little more challenging. On the first problem, it says find the x value if f of x is 21. So what's happening here is this. I'm going to need to replace the f of x with 21. So I have 21 equals the rest of it, 4x minus 3. So now, I just simply have this equation I need to solve. So now I just do my inverse operations. So I add 3 So I get 24 equals 4x. Divide by 4, and x equals 6. Now here's the cool thing. If I wanted to, I could plug that back in and say 4 times 6 minus 3 and check to see if it's 21, which it is. All right, I'll try the second one. It says find x if h of x equals 7. So I'm going to replace the h of x with 7. So I'm saying 7 equals the square root of 2x minus 7. So on this one, to get rid of the square root, I square both sides. I get 49 equals 2x minus 7. So now, inverse operations, add 7, add 7. So 56 equals 2x. Divide by 2, and x equals 28. All right, so for today, now you should be able to use these examples to help you with the 4.1 worksheet. We'll see you later.